Greetings Internet, and welcome to my first attempt at a video commentary. Keep in mind though, that since I'm not a regular YouTuber, this commentary isn't going to be on par with better ones you find on YouTube, and I won't be able to make it very long. Today's subject is in regards to a video done by a YouTuber known as The Unusual Suspect, to whom I should just say up front, I bear no ill will towards. The guy definitely has a decent track record of his reviews, but sadly, this video was highly problematic, to put it politely.
Maybe you all think I'm being a whiny man-child. Maybe I'm about to start an anti-movie theater revolution. So there we go, 25 reasons why all movie theaters should be made illegal. It should be made illegal. It should be made illegal.
I'm of course referring to his 25 reasons as to why movie theaters are just terrible altogether. And no, I do not support even entertaining the idea of suggesting that theaters be banned, hyperbole or not. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with not enjoying going to the theater, and it's also not to say that none of the points he brings up here are completely void of merit, but I can make an argument against every one of them, at least to some degree, and some of them do come off as more spoiled than anything else.
The only times I ever go these days is when a new Star Wars or Marvel movie comes out. Because you have to see them as soon as possible to avoid spoilers on the internet, don't you?
Or you could just avoid clicking on any videos or articles that delve into the films at full detail. I happen to find it quite easy to do. So without further ado, let's rebut these 25 reasons why movie theaters should be banned in 14 minutes or less. Let's start with some points that actually do have some validity.
Number 24, no control over the lighting. Number 17, you can't change the volume.
I guess if you have sensitive sight and hearing, your venues for movie viewing are more limited. I will admit that sporadic changes in volume is part of what made my sister stop enjoying going to the theaters, but I think other people can sit through it if they're willing to. I'm someone with more sensitive hearing, but I still go to the theater and enjoy because I'm adaptable. But regarding the lighting, theaters do their best to make sure that the lighting of the picture on the screen is not obstructed by other lights in the theater. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about...
Number 21, screen issues.
Yeah, sometimes we have those, but that's something we occasionally have to come to expect because technology is just unpredictable, no matter how much control we think we have over it. If it's not a theater screen that has issues, it might very well be yours at home. But theaters at least have the advantage of typically being under better maintenance and control, and are sure to get fixed more quickly than a cable guy who you have to call and make schedules with to get your TV fixed.
Number 2, tickets are expensive.
Yes, I can concur with this one too. Though I think a big part of ticket expenses has to do with the movie industry being so big and competitive these days. So many people want to get into the business, and so many of them are made with enormous budgets that they have to plan their marketing and release times accordingly to be profitable. On a semi-related note,
Number 25, limited movie selection.
That typically depends on the time of year. Regarding choosing between two very tempting movies, my best recommendation is working and saving money to go see one movie one week or weekend, then come back the next week or weekend to see the other. Around Christmas, you use all that hard-earned money to go see as many movies as you want, because nothing ever good comes around in January, except Paddington. So now we come to the more poorly constructed reasons.
Number 1, starting with the obvious one, people are scum.
People in public settings being disingenuous is a valid reason not to favor film watching in public, but it's not a good reason to dismiss it altogether because it's certainly not always the case. Maybe I'm lucky, but I've rarely had a movie-going experience where my enjoyment of a movie was completely ruined by other people in the theater. If someone was really to, say, shine their phone onto a film screen, I think it would get them thrown out. Besides, it's not like you're completely immune to the problem if you watch something at home either. In fact, Walt Disney once said during the uprising of television that he still favored movie theaters because it provides the opportunities to get people to interact and get to know each other. As for the prospect of people leaving the theaters dirty, yes, this is admittedly something that no one can have any control over. So hopefully the theater has a decent staff to keep it clean. I know mine does, but again, maybe I'm just lucky. But there do exist places with unsanitized public restrooms at, say, subway stations, and if you can't handle that, then there are not going to be many places that you can go publicly.
Number 3, it's not that visually impressive anymore.
I guess that depends on what you expect from which movies you decide to go see. Some of them simply can only be experienced in their full potential on the big screen. But no, there is no way you can truly replicate the theater-going experience on any screen you have at home.
Number 16, 3D. 3D, you're a terrible gimmick and nobody likes you. Fuck off and don't come back.
Again, this depends on the film. Yeah, we all know 3D is pretty much a dead or dying gimmick. Maybe there will come a time where we see a trend of 3D films that actually learn to use it properly.
Number 4, you can't pause. Number 11, you can't fast forward.
I don't think we want to pause or rewind the movie upon every viewing, let alone the first, because that would simply disrupt the flow of the story, for better or worse. Regarding pausing the movie, you do realize you can make your pit stop before the movie starts, right? As well as to have a smoke, and if you need to stretch your legs, you can stand up briefly and stand in the aisle for a couple of minutes. As for rewinding and fast forwarding, I don't know about you, but I've survived sitting through parts of movies that I don't like to get to the parts that I do, or even movies I just didn't like overall. It's a little thing called being grown up, and we eventually have to learn to do that in all venues of life. Besides, theater-going experiences are supposed to be about giving you initial impressions, so that later when you go to buy or download the film, you can rewind fast-forward to your favorite parts.
Number 23. Well, I already paid for the ticket.
That's what we have reviewers for. They pay to go see early screenings, and when they do their job properly, they give you their initial impressions and help you reach the conclusion as to whether or not the movie's worth your time and money. And I should hope you would think twice before purchasing a 50 Shades ticket.
Number 12. Pay up if you want to watch again.
Again, theaters are namely for initial thoughts and experiences. If the movie's good enough, then the money's probably worth it. Otherwise, wait to buy or rent it.
Number 6. Cramped seats.
Cramped seats. Again, I can relate, but also again, I think it's a matter of which theater you go to and which compromises you're willing to make. All I can say is that theater seats are generally a lot better designed now than they've ever been before. Besides, it's not like we can ban performing arts theaters because they don't have ideal seats.
Well, number 8, you can't bring your own food and drink.
I suppose that depends on which theater you go to. I was able to get into the theater I went to in my hometown with my own food and water. Or, you could just wait to eat or drink either before or after.
Number 7. Popcorn is how much? Number 9. There's no healthy food options.
Ah, yes, this. Look, man, I work at a gas station that only has a limited selection of snacks, mostly consisting of junk food. That's why they're called snacks. And snacks, including popcorn, are optional. You go to restaurants for full meals, healthy or unhealthy. And yes, if I had my own business, I would indeed want to provide a small share of healthy selections. Maybe not a salad, like Unusual Suspect exasperatedly suggests, but maybe some apples or oranges, or if you want to sell stuff that won't go bad, packs of peanuts and dried fruit.
Number 13. No subtitle option.
Okay.
Number 10. Wait, there's ads?
I'd argue that 30 minutes of ads gives you the advantage of not having to worry about missing the movie if you happen to be running late to your selected screening.
Number 14. You can't choose the start time. Number 15. You gotta travel.
Oh, the horror! That's like with most things in this world. You just gotta plan accordingly. Make use of your time and bring things to do if you ever have to wait. I say this as someone who, for a multitude of reasons, doesn't drive and has to rely on walking and public transportation.
Number 18. Add some headphone jacks already.
Add headphone jacks. Again, that's just a little part of that whole compromise thing.
Number 19. The good seats can go. Number 20. Assigned seating.
I admit that getting a decent place to sit can be somewhat of a drawback, but the theaters I've gone to haven't had tickets with any particular seats on them. As for those that do, I say try to find a screening that isn't so crowded so you don't have to be restricted to selected seating. And if the theater does assign specific seats, then try, ordering the tickets well in advance. Of course, I have the advantage of working the night and weekend shifts, so I have time off during the day to go see a film while others are at work and school, so what do I know?
Number 22. It makes a shitty date.
I can't speak for all the people who date, seeing how I have no romantic interests myself, but I would think that anyone who wants to go to the theater for a date would want to do it because they think the movie is an experience they want to share with their significant other, and maybe talk about afterwards. That or else they just want someplace dark to go so they can sit in the back and smooch. I don't know. It's not like watching at home would be much different with the film playing in the background anyways. I don't think. And that's my reasoning as to why these 25 reasons to make movie theaters illegal are more or less garbage. Again, that's not to say it's bad if you don't care for the theater personally. As I said, a few of Unusual Suspects' reasons do have some validity to an extent. And it's not wrong to prefer enjoying films in the privacy of your own home, or even on portable devices. But seeing how that seems to be what more and more people are gravitating towards as time goes on, I do not think that the opportunity to experience things on the big screen should disappear altogether, because there is more value in it than most people might realize or give it credit for. But that's just me. What are your thoughts? Would you not mind the prospect of not having theaters to see films for the first time and just have everything at your disposal at home? Let me know if you have anything you'd like to add or if you have any rebuttals to my rebuttals. Either way, take care and I look forward to hearing from you.